Being the wife does not automatically entitle you to your spouse's retirement. For those of us who married more than once, our previous marriages do come back to haunt us. I have seen many a person amazed at who shows up thinking they have a claim to their departed spouse's estate or retirement funds, etc. It's shocking. You cannot afford not to know what the intentions are and how to take care of things with your spouse before someone dies. So, adult children, ex spouses, and their sense of entitlement, that can derail your retirement. Retirement plans don't exist in a vacuum. A lot of people may think that they're entitled to your spouse's retirement. Those who were there before you, those who survive him other than you. Are you aware of all of these potential claimants who might be coming forth? And how do you and your spouse protect and honor your spouse's wishes? They may choose to leave some of their retirement stuff or their funds to children or perhaps a previous spouse for some reason, but you need to know these things and not be surprised by them. So sit down, have the conversation, and talk it through. We are a society of blended families. It's a beautiful thing. It is the way the world is now. But blended families blur the lines on what used to be black and white. Just because you're the current spouse does not mean that you're going to receive everything you had assumed all these years or what you guys had talked about, because y'all have to preemptively sit down and make those decisions, put it in writing, put things in place together. This does not mean that you're planning for their demise, but it just simply means that y'all are planning together for all sorts of contingency to ensure that their wishes are met upon their departure, but also so that you know what to expect and what is there for you to continue living off of. So the list basically are stepchildren, former spouses, adult children, and new partners. All of these people are quietly assuming they have access to the same pile of money. So, and money doesn't multiply just because the relationships do. It's all still one bucket. Without clarity from the deceased, blended families are all of a sudden in competition with each other for what remains and what they feel they're entitled to. It can get very ugly. And it's not because people are cruel. They're not necessarily manipulative. They just simply are protecting what they think is theirs to protect. We're all grieving at this point. You are all grieving. And that makes loving decisions a bit more difficult. It's just a part of being human. As women, we do have a way of postponing difficult conversations. We make assumptions and we let that convince us that we've replaced the conversation that truly needs. I've done it, and I bet a lot of you have as well. We avoid these conversations because they're uncomfortable and they're awkward, and we don't necessarily know how to start them. At the end of the day, they just have to be started. Nobody is really going to be mad that you're asking these questions. You simply need to know what the plans are. So you can definitely respect and honor what their wishes are, but you've got to be able to plan for yourself. If your spouse was to pass, what's the full bucket? Where is it all sitting? How do they want it divided up? What is coming to you? And what do you need in your own bucket to be sure that you can retire like you mean it and have the life that you've been working this long to do? Something else we do is we say we will figure it out later. It'll work itself out. Sometimes death takes us all by surprise. We didn't see it coming. So later, in working itself out, may not have a chance to happen. Your assumptions protect your comfort for the short term, but it does nothing for the long-term plan and planning. And it can actually create conflict after the loved one is gone. Clarity early prevents resentments later. You should protect yourself without guilt. You're not being greedy. You're not trying to cut anybody out. You simply need to know where things are going to go after a partner passes so that you've planned accordingly and you're not surprised. In the middle of grief, not one of us wants to say, God, what was he thinking? Or what was she thinking? It doesn't mean you love him any less. It just means that you're protecting your future. if your future happens to be without them because they've died. Guilt often shows up after women stop overgiving. You are allowed to say, I have planned for my life. Some women, myself included, needs that level of confidence and security that if the bottom fell out, I need to know that I can still stand on my 2 feet and I will be okay. I was independent Jen for a very long time, and that's just part of my now, of my DNA. I have to have my plan and I have to have full understanding because after he departs, I don't want to be surprised. Having these conversations, we've had these conversations, and you need to have them as well. Share this video with a woman, maybe even a man, who needs to hear this message. If you are in a second, third, fourth, whatever number of marriages it may be, you need to sit down with your partner and come up with what the plan looks like financially after you're gone. Do you want to leave amounts to those who come from previous families? Are you in a blended situation where you want to make sure everybody's equally taken care of, including the spouse? Or is everything going to be left to the spouse, and then upon her or his departure, then they get to distribute it as you both have agreed? Lots to unpack here, but you owe it to yourself. Again, you're not hoping each other pass more quickly. You're just simply creating a plan so you've got the peace of mind that you don't have to worry about finances at the point you have to say your final goodbye. I'm Jenny. I'm that friend that talks about uncomfortable things and makes you pay attention. You are here. I post on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but this is part of a 7-day run of videos, which I will conclude with a YouTube Live. Y'all keep coming back. I'll see you soon. Stop recording.